Welcome back students to our next part of the chapter playing with numbers. This chapter is very important, and in the previous video you all have learnt about the prime factors and divisibility rules. In this explanation video, that is in the next part of this chapter, today we are going to learn about one of the most important topic in mathematics which will be required in your further higher classes also. The name of the topic is nothing but HCF, highest common factor. For your kind information students, you can call this word, HCF, by some other name as GCD, as greatest common divisor. Okay, so in short, both HCF and GCD are quite same. Okay, but we generally use the word HCF in our daily calculations. Now let us understand what is HCF. Students, as you all know that when you are dealing with 2 or 3 numbers, sometimes you come across finding the common factors of those 2 or 3 numbers. Now when you find the common factors, you get many factors which are common. Now what is HCF? HCF is the greatest of that common factor. Okay, so HCF means highest common factor, which means the greatest common factor, greatest of all the common factors of 2 or more than 2 numbers. Let us take an example. Let us take 3 examples. We will be taking 3 numbers and then we will try to find the HCF. Suppose the 3 numbers are 20, 35 and 50. Let us find the HCF. So there are various methods through which you can find the HCF. Those all the methods individually we will be discussing. Okay, but very casually if we do, what are the factors of 20? The factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20. What are the factors of 35? The factors of 35 are 1, 5, 7, then directly we will write 35. Okay, what are the factors of 50? Factors of 50 are 1, 2, 5, 10, then 25 and 50. So students, these are the factors of these 3 numbers. Now what are the common factors? The common factors will be circling it. So what is the common factor? In fact, 1 is a common factor of every set of numbers. Okay, if you don't get any common factor, definitely you will get a number which is a common factor, that will be 1. Okay, and if the common factor, the only common factor is 1, then HCF will also be 1. In that case, those numbers, those 2 numbers, if we are finding with, will be said to be a co-prime number. I think many of you know this, but still I repeated this as because this is completely related with HCF. Okay, now what are the next common factor? You can see here, the next common factor is 5. Now students, you see we have 10 here but not here. Okay, so there is no such number which is common to all the 3 numbers. We will be taking only those numbers which are common to all 3 numbers. All 3 we will be taking that factor only which is a factor of all the 3 numbers, that is 20, 35 and 50, and we don't find anyone other than 1 and 5. So the common factors are 1 and 5. So it's clear, very clear that the highest number is among these 2 is 5. So it will be, our HCF will be equals to 5. So the highest common factor means, first you need to know what are the common factors. Among those common factors, the maximum one, the greatest number, which is the common factor, that will be your HCF, or you can say that number as GCD, greatest common divisor. So students, now in the next part we will be understanding what are the various ways in which we will be finding the HCF of any 2 number or more than 2 numbers. Also we will solve an example where we will understand how this concept of HCF can be used in our daily life. In short, we will be solving a word problem where you will understand that how you will be dealing with the concept of HCF in your daily life. So let us now understand what are the various ways of finding the HCF. So students, here I just shown you a method. This is also one of the way of finding the HCF, and this we called as a listing factors method. Okay, listing factor method. But students, this is quite hectic method. This is quite lengthy method. So why I am saying so? Because if I give you a big number like 200 or 300, so listing out all the factors of that big number will take enormous amount of time. So in that kind of situation, it will take huge amount of time. So we generally don't follow this method. But if you go through this method, if you do it by this method, there is no problem at all. Okay. But there are two basic methods, two important methods which will help you to find out the HCF. Okay. So now we will be understanding those two methods one by one. Okay, let us take the same example, 20, 35 and 50, okay, because you now know the answer of these three numbers. The HCF is 5. Now we will be seeing whether we get the same HCF by the other methods or not. Definitely we will be getting, but let us understand. The two methods by which we can find the HCF are, first one is prime factorization method and the second one is division method, or you can say sometimes it's called long division method also. It's a division method or long division method, as you like, you can say. So first we'll understand the prime factorization method. So in first is prime factorization method. So you can see here, if I do the prime factorization of 20, 2 into 10, 2 into 5, then 5 into 1. Let us take 5 into 1 also, because sometimes if you don't get any common factor, then only 1 will be your answer. So definitely try to take 1 also. 35 will be 5 into 7, 7 into 1. 50 will be 2 into 25, okay, 5 into 5, 5 into 1. So we can write 20 as 2 into 2 into 5 into 1. 35 as 5 into 7 into 1. 50 as 2 into 5 into 5 into 1. So students, you can see what are the numbers common here. You can see 5 is common and then 1 is common. So our HCF, here we don't need to find the common factor, okay? You can directly find the HCF. It's not necessary that common factor you have to find here. So what will the HCF? You can see 5 is the factor of all the three numbers. 1 is a factor of all the three numbers. That means 5 and 1 are the common factors of all the three numbers. So we will write here 5 into 1, okay? As because only 1 5 is common to all, so we will take only 1 5. Only 1 1 is common, so we will take only 1, and 5 into 1 will be equals to 5. So this is our answer. Hence, in this way we can solve, we can find the HCF by prime factorization method. Now let us understand the second method, which we called as division methods or long division method, as you like. So students, the second method we call as, I am just writing it, division method. So this is very helpful and many students prefer to do by this method, because you don't have to think about the prime factors, because when you are solving by prime factorization, there is one problem that you have to think about the prime factors, okay, for individual all numbers. But here automatically, if your calculation is strong, we can do it very easily without thinking anything, okay. So here first we will be taking these two numbers, okay. Let us find the HCF of 20 and 35, because three numbers togetherly we cannot do. So let us divide it in this way. The bigger number we will write inside as a dividend, and the smaller number we will write here as a divisor, okay, and then you divide. So 21 are 20, remainder will be 15. Now one thing you need to keep in your mind, until and unless you don't get the remainder 0, your divisor will go on becoming the dividend in the next successive steps, okay. What I said, see, I am not getting remainder 0 here, If I don't get the remainder 0, what was the divisor before? 20. Now that 20 will become the dividend in this second step. So here it will be 15 ones are 15. Again I am not getting the remainder 0. Now what will happen? This 15 will become the dividend in the third step. So it will be 15 here. Now you see 5 3s are 15, and hence finally we get the remainder as 0. So the step in which you get the remainder as 0, you will be stopping your calculation right there, and in that particular step you will be observing the divisor. Whatever your divisor at that final step is, that will be your HCF. So your HCF will be equals to 5, as because I am getting remainder 0 in my third step. So in the third step, what is my divisor? The divisor is 5. That will be your HCF. Now students, this is not our final answer. Though we know that our answer is 5, but still I cannot say that this is my final answer, as because I have not even calculated with 50. So the rule is, first you have to find the HCF of first two numbers, and then the HCF of that two numbers, whatever you get. Then you have to, at the second step, you will be finding the HCF of the third number and the answer over here. So what is my answer here? 5. And what is the third number? 50. In the next step, I will be finding the HCF of the third number and the answer of the first two number. Okay? The answer of the first two number is 5 and the third number is 50. So now we will find the HCF of 5 and 50. So it will be 5 divided by 50, 5 tens are 50, and here we get the remainder as 0 in the first step itself. Okay, so it's very easy now, you can understand. You are getting the remainder in the very first step, so your calculation ends here itself. Okay, and then when you are getting the remainder as 0, at the same step your divisor is how much? 5. So your final answer is now 5. So our final HCF, you just write complete sentence, HCF of 20, 35 and 50 is equals to 5. So this is how you can solve it through long division method. Students, for your convenience, I would like to give you an advice which will help you to solve the various sums in your exercise. That advice is, students, when you are coming across the bigger number, a 3-digit number or 4-digit or 5-digit whatsoever, okay, then prefer doing it by division method, okay, because division method will help you to find the HCF of those larger numbers very easily. Okay, I'm not saying that you cannot do by prime factorization. You can also do it by prime factorization method. It will also give you the answer, but if you do it by the division method, it will be more convenient for you. But it's not again compulsory. But students, you also have to read the question before. Whatever the question is asking, you have to go for that. If the question is asking like you have to do with prime factorization method only, then you have to do it by that particular method, or vice versa. Okay, but if it is nothing said in the question, then you can solve it by your own desirable method, and in that case I will advise you to go with division method, as it will be more convenient compared to the prime factorization method. So now students, we will be solving one small word problem. This will help you to understand how this HCF can be used in our daily life, because this word problem will also be related with our daily life question. Okay students, here I have selected one question from your exercise itself, and this question is very related with our daily life, and here we will see how HCF can help us to find the answer. You can first read the question very nicely. There are three different tankers which can contain 496 liters, 403 liters and 713 liters of milk. So in the three different tankers, this amount of milk are there. Okay, we need to find the maximum capacity of a container. That means out of these three tankers, we want to take a container and the maximum capacity of that container that can measure the milk of any tanker an exact number of times. Okay, that means I want to get the amount, the capacity, the maximum capacity of one container with the help of which I can withdraw the milk from any of the tank an exact number of times. That means 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5th time also. That means there should be no such time where I will be getting a half of the container or 1/4 or unfulfilled container. That means a complete filled up container. How many number of times, different number of times I can take it from the any of the 3 tankers. So definitely students, in order to get that a maximum amount of that container which can withdraw the milk from any of the tanker, an exact number of time will be the HCF of the 3 amount. That means 496, 403 and 730 meters. So we will write here solution. The maximum capacity statement is very important, so pay your attention here very nicely. The maximum capacity of a container that can measure the milk of any tanker an exact of time will be the HCF of 496, 403 and 703. So students, as I said before itself to you, that if you are coming across a bigger number, you go by division method. I will be solving it by division method. So let us solve. 496 divided by 403. 1s are 403. Subtract, it will be 93. Remainder is not 0. So this will come down. Okay. 93 into how much? Take 4. Okay. So here we will get 31. 3 is a, you see, students see here that you are getting the remainder 0. So what is the divisor at this step? 31. So 31 is the HCF of 403, 496. But here we don't end our answer because we are left with the third number 713. And now at the second step, we will be finding the HCF of this answer 31 and the third number 713. Okay. So let us divide it again. 31 divided by 713. 2s are 62. 3s are 93. You see here, again you get the remainder 0. So at this step, the first step only, you are getting the remainder 0. And here, the divisor is 31. So your final HCF is how much? Final HCF is 31. So the required, write the conclusion. So the required capacity, we can write the required maximum capacity of container equal to 31 liters. So students, this is our answer. Okay, 31 liters. So students, in this explanation video, we understood the basic concept of HCF. Okay, and we also understood what are the different ways of finding the HCF, and then we also solved one of the word problem which was related with HCF. So students, hope so that you all have understood this very nicely, and this all concept, this all basic methods will help you to solve the different questions in your exercise.